country music. I love country music, Felix. First and foremost, I look at it as music for a purpose. That it's not all about the dancing, the beats, and but you get the message. Even when you take the Ugandan version, that one guitar, the Kadongo Kamu, still those are Kadongo Kamu. You know the Kadongo Kamu songs?
In English, it's called one guitar.
No, I'm just saying the Kadongo Kamu. Kadongo Kamu artists we had here, the likes of Paul Kafero and all that. That the songs could be a bit long, but they had the message in them, and you could get the message. Contrary to what we're having today, where you'd find that people are more taken into dance hall, taken into beats, and all they'll do is jump and sweat. You ask a person, what is the message in that song? They'll just tell you, as long as the music, the beats can make people jump and dance, then you're good to go. Country music is music with a purpose, and of course, like Felix said, there are people that are so real into country music and love that.
Well, first, Robert, speaking about one guitar. Wow, you brought something. You can welcome me is one guitar in English. So we could also talk about Hallelujah. I am actually enjoying myself. Concoctions with Robert and Priscilla's concoctions are what's there, but at least I'm for sure I will take the original version of Hallelujah ginger tea drink, because for the purposes that I know for a fact are will help me reduce my acidity ratios. Of course, calm down stress, relieves headache, all these things, clears your throat. Now mostly in times of COVID-19, and of course the weather is not so friendly. The heat is up there most of these days. There's so much dust, and no wonder you need Hallelujah ginger tea drink to now clean your throat. For some of our colleagues who will go to the extreme, get yourself the Hallelujah tamarind, and for some of you people who do the opaque bottle or what we call alcohol, for issues of hangover, please, when you do choose to buy yourself a bottle of one of the opaque bottles, also choose to buy a Tarling Pyro drink of Hallelujah ginger tea drink or Hallelujah tamarind drink. I'm sure my sister Priscilla is sipping on this right now.
She's taking the concoctions that I enjoy most. You know, when you mix that with a bit of hot water, you can take a couple of bottles there. And of course, these drinks have health benefits whenever you take them. Well, let's look at our newsreel story. Today, we are looking at the election journey in Uganda that we've had, that was concluded yesterday, according to the Electoral Commission roadmap. This all began on the 16th of June. That is last year, when the Electoral Commission issued what they referred to as the revised roadmap. Now, you must recall that some of these activities don't go as earlier planned because of COVID-19. Remember, around March there, we went into lockdown. Then was speculations. Will we hold elections in Uganda? Will we under COVID-19? So much was said, so much was debated in Parliament, but finally the Electoral Commission, after consultations with the Ministry of Health, came up with a revised roadmap that clearly stipulated polling dates, stipulated campaigns, and all that. So the journey began, and that's what we're going to be looking at, right from the campaigns to polling, and if time allows, also the aftermath of these elections. Felix, 2021 general elections, so much happened. Let's begin from the time when the Electoral Commission issued the revised roadmap, the situation that was there. We had COVID-19, the guidelines that were to be followed there, and all those complications that thereafter followed.
Well, of course, Robert, even before we go to the roadmap per se, the thesis or the preamble, better still the genesis, if I may say, of elections in any country, or what you can call a civil state for that matter, that is internationally recognized to have cognizance of supremacy and leadership. It is a mandate, constitutional mandate, that at the alternation of a particular period, elections must happen. Just to give you examples, in some countries like the Great United States of America, as they call it, they will sit in for 4 years. You know that as a matter of fact. There are other jurisdictions like Brazil, where someone will sit for 7 years. In the African continent, mostly many of the same have related to the 5-year periodical change of leadership, and others 7 as well. So under the same realm of subscription, we do also take center place to enforce a constitutional mandate every after 5 years. So that is the beginning, even before you come to the roadmaps and what and what.
Because this election was kind of special from the rest of
it. Doesn't
in
matter.
A different way, yes.
It doesn't matter, Robert. The background is the bedrock, is the enforcement of a constitutional mandate. That's where it starts. Even if maybe some particular part of Uganda was at war, maybe we would have had this election. So it's not about whether special or not. Even if it had rained one full year and we didn't have any dawn of sun or what, constitution. Now, what is the constitution? Probably for purposes of emphasis for people who still have ideologies like what you just said. The constitution is the supreme law of any civil society. The word civility of a society comes into play when you have the notions of independence, a country that has been independent, has gotten independence, or that has done far with the realms of colonialism for that matter, servitude for that matter, or neo-colonialism in peace presence. Now, it means that this country has got a definition in terms of border, in terms of societies like race, in terms of customs, in terms of practices, just to mention but a few. Now, that community must also have what we call a social contract later on, which social contract must only be enforced by the guidance of the constitution, the laws of that land, which are gotten from their customs, blah, blah. Now, this is what we did. So before you come to the roadmap, Manyanga, what, that is the basis of our election. And no wonder, even in Byabakama's words, he said we must fulfill a what?
Constitutional mandate.
We must. Even when, if you remember, there's a time President Tibuhaura came out to say that someone who would form elections would be insane or crazy. I don't know exactly what he said, but it was around the same thing.
We are under COVID and you're discussing it.
Now, that was his opinion, which could not have superseded the constitutional mandate. No wonder elections, and I've had politicians make it an issue. That was an opinion of an individual who is a president, who is not bigger than the constitution of the Now, again, the constitution had to reign over his statements. You remember even the Archbishop also came out to suggest that we can have these extended. Nevertheless, there are provisions of extending an election. It's still in the constitution. But they must be sufficient. How sufficient? You must be in a position where there is no iota. There is no iota in semblance in any way that but we cannot organize
state of emergency,
an election.
That we cannot have an election.
But what is the state of emergency is described in the constitution, and nothing of the same was relevant in the circumstances. So having said that, we had to go to an election. Now, what is an election? And it's very, very unfortunate that these institutions, the main principal institutions in an election, never come out to give such knowledge to people. We carry it out as a routine. Yet, in as much as it is a routine, it is a very important part to define civility of any country. Now, an election is where citizens, or what you want to call citizenry, are presented with an opportunity to make choice, informed choice, and I must add, to make informed choice on who will lead a country, or on who they are willing to enter into with a social contract. That is what an election is.
Let's begin at the level of an informed decision. In this election, we had COVID-19. We didn't have so much. Did Ugandans make an informed decision, or they fulfilled a constitutional process for mandate? In your opinion, Felix?
I think that would be ambiguous if you brought it on a blanket level with a yes or no approach. I think you must examine it.
Yes.
You must examine it further to understand, one, that did people actually exercise the right. Where you have a population of 40, probably 45 now approximated population, but only 18 of them can vote. That is a question. And these are things you have been telling the leaders. You get the point. So something must be thought in that line. You have 18 million out of 45. That means you're leaving how much? How many millions of the same? That is about you're living in other probably 30 million, almost 30 million.
Who have not registered to vote.
It doesn't matter whether registration, no. They can tell that those 28, 29 million people are probably under age. What? So that's something we should think. Maybe now should we still really think the age that votes. You get the point? Because it means that it's a small population out of a bigger number that is being, that is choosing leadership, and that is wrong. Now, it means that in this kind of election can be easily manipulated. But also there's what we call, in law there's something they call, okay, let me go to sports, and there's something they call a technical foul. Some of you who have played basketball, who have played soccer, technical foul. And that can be used against the people. But also, Felix, you must not forget that under our laws, voting is voluntary. I know. So a person has the right to choose. Now, thank you so much. Not to even participate in this process. The word voluntary, let me tell you, when you see some of us who do research, who have done research as a study, you know that is what you call, you must get some findings. What are the findings? That why would someone choose not to vote? All these things you must examine, and this is an electoral commission. If you have low voter turnout, what informed that? You see, you can say it is voluntary, but there's also the aspect of bias. Okay? Haven't we had a time where people have voted overwhelmingly versus times where we have not had? These are things that for us we must, of course, Robert, people want us to, you can choose to talk about the normal things. There was what, this one stood, but these are now the actual issues we must discuss, because going forward, they determine the kind of elections we'll be having. You brought in the aspect of voluntary voting, voluntary as an aspect of voting. What informs voter participation? Robert, are very many things, and I can give you just to mention, but if you want information. How many people in this country knew that yesterday we had elections? Let's start there. You live in community, you just do a study in your community. Start with your household, for some of you who are viewers. Tell us, did you even know yourself? Did you even know who was standing? Which position was being voted? A, B, C, D.
Because yesterday we were electing sub-county chairpersons and their councillors in 135 districts.
How many people knew
about this election? Yes.
That's now knowledge.
And to just at very low turnout.
If you've heard of the statement that knowledge is what?
Power.
Now, once people don't have the knowledge, they don't have the power to participate. Now, in the absence of knowledge, the people won't come and you say it was their voluntary, but they didn't have. They chose not to vote. They didn't know. They didn't know. That is one, knowledge. Second, transparency. I want to give an example of a home. For some of you who have grown up in homesteads, whether nuclear or extended, there are times where parents normally say, what yo? You get the point. You what yo? Maybe they will say this person eats very slow, he spends a long time at the dining. You let him. He eats slow, he's a slow person. Now, there are people in this country who have said that to elections. Whether I vote
or I don't
vote,
nothing can.
Someone will say, I know the outcome. And you've heard these things.
Yes.
Then someone will say, Terigasa. How does it put
does it put food on my table?
Now, that is a big deal. Okay, transparency, that institutions have failed to come out. Now, whenever you have transparency, you build confidence.
And that increases later participation into the process.
Exactly. Now, Robert, that's what I'm saying. I told you the first one was information, now transparency. Because most times, and since the history of elections and even the institutions have not exhibited to the latter transparency, also that has caused less confidence in the systems and the process of elections. Now that brings me back to what you said about voluntary aspect. Now it means people will not interest themselves in some of these processes. Now the third one is availability. How available are these processes to the wananchi? What do I mean by availability? When I talk about availability, I talk about, it brings into it is intertwined with accessibility. That are election processes available and accessible to the stakeholders who are the voters or the electorate for that matter. Now, the question is, where do people, let's start with the registration processes. Are they available and accessible? Voter what? Registry, identification, go here, check this, get this. How accessible, how available. Let's come to the actual polling day.
Felix, on that, before you go to the actual polling day, this is my view and this is my opinion that I also feel to throw more light. Then where does the responsibility of a citizen come in to interest himself? Yes, the Electoral Commission, government has a role to play, and we must accept some of these have not been done very well. More so as availability of information, we've not had enough civic education. I think that's the role of the human rights. Voter education to some level also was lacking. But as a Ugandan, your interest into the affairs of your country, the persistence there, because when you talk about accessibility, availability, that you would find, I'll give you an example, Felix. Though it's not voting, but also it requires where we saw Ugandans participate. Previously, before the national ID was fronted to be a determinant on certain issues in this country, people are not that eager to get the national ID. When it came that even registering your phone, we saw even people investing money to get a national ID. So to the interest of a person, the responsibility of a Ugandan, that I must interest myself in the affairs of this country, where does that fall?
You see, Robert has definitely come into that, but just let me finish some of this, because now that is the last at the tail of the discussion of elections. Now, the aspect of accessibility, Robert, and availability brings a service. It brings the aspect of knowledge. I heard you talk about information, voter what, and all that. You see, Robert, comfort. I want to give you an example. Have you heard of these apps? The Juniors, the cafe Javas, on the go, whatever, and all those kind of things. Now, you must notice that the reason why all these innovations have come up are because evolvement. Man has evolved. That's why people today are working at home. They no longer have to drive through the jam. You see,
even attending church at home.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now, why doesn't Electoral Commission evolve? You saw how US voted by mail.
Yes.
Accessibility and availability is one of the reasons why you have another 30 million people not voting. That's why. That's the reason. Because probably let's imagine it rained cats and dogs, which it did. If you remember the voting day, it rained.
Some areas it rained.
Now, that means some people didn't say they're not going to
vote.
But how about they were able to vote through their phones? Accessibility, availability. How available these processes are to the people. Let me bring in your aspect of the people. What of course you did talk about the responsibility of the Wananchi, or us, the civilians. Now, what informs responsibility? There's something that people throw around in this country called patriotism. Some people have heard them say that they teach it. I don't know how that's done though. But I want to tell you that responsibility, the word responsibility comes from response. It is you responding to something. What is there to respond to before you call? I will say you're not responsible because you didn't respond to a demand, to a call. That's when you didn't respond. But you must feel cause to respond. Stop thinking that responsibility is automatic. It is not automatic. You get the point? It is you responding to a cause, but you must feel reason to respond.
Isn't a cause justified here? That this is a cause for you?
That's the mistake you make.
And
no, you must, you see, and this is what we are telling you. An election, you see, don't diffuse elections from marketing. In as much as it is a constitutional obligation, you must market it. You must bring, that's why I talked about availability, accessibility. Bring it close to people so they will respond to something they understand. It brings you back to things I've been telling you. Transparency, information. That once people, if you do all these things, people will feel the urge to respond. You won't even have to quarrel about, you see voter turn up go high. because people have something to respond.
Statistically, it's going low because that's what the election. People don't. We had a 11% decline in voter turnout.
But if you look at the reasons why there's a decline, that people go far and far from elections simply because of the absence of these things, the transparency things, accountability. You look at information, all these things. Now, people, what you want to call responsibility. People will not respond to something they don't understand. It's just like if you remember, we used to walk through town as young lads and young gladiators. We used to run this town those days, and you would pass by someone. But when you find a place where someone is talking things you understand, you want to respond because you understand, you relate. Now, people in this country don't relate with elections. There's a great majority that don't relate because of the various reasons I told you. People don't feel they are transparent. People feel that it's a waste of time. People feel that there's voter
inconvenience.
Yeah, now people think, now most recent, of course, the deployment of the army. You've seen people are scared. People are saying they were beaten. All these things. Now, so people do not respond because they don't have anything to respond to. So that's why Kugambye, when you talk about responsibility, it's low. So that brings a big duty to the institutions, the major stakeholders, the public, the civil societies, the government.
Felix, as we conclude in the interest of time, we've had now 4 elections ending in court with electoral petitions, but there have always been recommendations that look at some of the issues you've just been alluding to, why we have a low voter turnout, why the election actually is what it is. But we've not seen so much steps into walking down the line that ensures some of these issues are settled.
Well, of course, because it benefits those who... People don't implement them because they are beneficiaries. What do you expect? Going away, so, I mean, they cannot shoot them. So they can't implement because the directives or the orders or the recommendations work against them. Simply that.
So much we can talk about elections, but the process is done. Now what is important is how do we move forward? How do we move forward to mend the broken pieces? How do we move forward as united Ugandans? Elections sometimes divide us. Elections sometimes the lives have been lost. We've had some losers take losing the wrong way. But now what is important is having a peaceful environment, moving together as one Uganda, one people. When we return, we'll be looking at some of the stories that are trending in the print media. Good morning and keep it on UBC TV.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
How are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do. Sent you for today, and this sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say, sent you, sent you, sent you, yeah. Sent you, sent you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Senchu points. The more you use, the more Senchu points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Senchu.
Next time on the Road to Mama's Kampala 2021.
It's a shame. I've never been to Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Sheba joins forces with fellow Ugandan comedian Salvador to explore Queen Elizabeth Park and the unforgettable Kazinga Channel.
Road to the Mama.
The duo will team up with the Ghetto Kids to host South African global sensation Master KG.
I'm excited to meet you in person.
Here we go.
Oh gosh! Catch the Road to Mamas, hosted by Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Buyogera nyaffe Uganda ku Radio Africa tolemwa kumwenya olwakamwenyumwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo ne butusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu bwe buwoomyo obuva mu kyokunywa ekyaleeruya gingatte drink n'aleeruya tamarin drink eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Woomerwa ekyokunywa kirimu omubisi gw'enkooge aleluya tamarin drink n'aleluya gingatte drink bikolebwa ba aleluya reflexology healthy solution and nutritional research center limited. Weefunire ekyokunywa kya aleluya leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bakubire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
A lovely morning to you once again, and thank you for keeping it on UBC TV. It's time we look at some of the papers. We have the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. Looking at the New Vision, we have government officials under probe, that is over DGF authorization. They give you a reason on the New Vision why Museveni ordered the 500 billion foreign fund suspended. That is a big line in the New Vision there. Still in the New Vision, LC3 elections, leading candidates. Very interesting candidates here. We see Matthias Warukaga, Chengera Town Council, he's in the lead. Bernard Ogolot, that is Katakwi Sub-County. You have Ronnie Japini, that is Central Division, Nebi, Robert Kabanda, Mokono Central Division, Godfrey Narima Chintu, Godfrey Narima, that is Kituntu Sub-County, that is in PG, and others that are leading. Still in the New Vision, 10 perish in Kasese road accident, and Muyingo Rally students on Vision Group homework pages there. Our win is secure, says the NRM. Still, we look at COVID-19. Government needs 96 billion for masks and vaccine. More money needed there to fight the spread of COVID-19. And UNEB wants 10 billion for exams. There are also over 350 tenders inside the New Vision for you there. And for our learners, home learning, you have a pass or level biology, English, and physics are available for you there. Now we head to the sports page in the New Vision, where the 9-goal club, that is sports, they give you so much of that. Match date, that is they're giving you the scientific 2021-2022 now Scott Premier Rugby League kicks off. That is on 6th of March. Then vaccine for all. That is in the sports. Uganda Olympics Committee plans to administer the COVID-19 vaccine to all members of the Ugandan contingent that will represent the country at the Tokyo Olympics in Japan later this year. There are some of the stories in the New Vision. Now we head to the Daily Monitor. Truth every day, and I'm holding the Daily Monitor of today, the 4th day of February 2021. Court judgment, LRA memories return on the day of Ongwen verdict. They also look at today in relationships. I paid off his loan and he broke up with me. Very unfortunate there, but never regret anything you do for love. We love readers like you. There's something there for you. Then Stella Nyanzi seeks asylum in Nairobi. Former woman, Kampala woman member, candidate in the Kampala Women Parliamentary race there, Dr. Stella Nyanzi now seeks asylum in Nairobi. Then government dues, big blow to NGO. That is President orders Finance Ministry probe the IGG, the Anti-Corruption Unit, to lead inquiries. That is the DGF organization in eye of the storm. Facilitate funds, that is 47 non-government organizations and agencies. Still, they give you the accident that happened in Kasese, where we saw 10 people killed in 5-vehicle accident in Kasese. Woman beats ex-husband in LC3 elections. Very interesting here. That is on page 3. A woman beats ex-husband in LC3 elections. Then court to hear 25 stale poll petitions. The Lizard now here says why they might be settling old issues. Okay, that is the story regarding the woman that beats ex-husband, that is in LC3 polls. So the Lizard comes out and says, they might be settling old issues. Interesting, Lizard there. Now we head to the sports, that is in the Daily Monitor. Premiership League, they give you more there. There's so many goals. I heard Ruben say, I think football has now turned into rugby. These many goals. Man United registers a 9 victory 0. Well, okay, still in there, they give you the task to get in shape. That is the rugby Uganda's team there. Also, final leaders aboard. That is fixtures there, and also scorers and how some are going to be working out the women's structures. Then maximum number of people will be allowed to at the game. So they give you so much on the rugby competition there, and opening fixtures for you who is interested in that. But remember, our own Ruben will be here also to give you the details, all those catchy stories and updates in the world of sports. I'll now head to Felix, who is ready to take you through the traffic updates this morning. I don't know which route, but you get to know how quick, how fast, and how safe you can get to your destination every morning in our traffic updates. Good morning, and keep it on UBC TV.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new MyPakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data, and SMS with our 3-in-1 MyPakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family. To activate MyPakalast voice combo, dial *100*2*1# to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Needs, come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Port Bell Road, Justice Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
Next time on the Road to Mama's Kampala 2021.
It's a shame. I've never been to Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Sheba joins forces with fellow Ugandan comedian Salvador to explore Queen Elizabeth Park and the unforgettable Kazinga Channel.
Road to the mama.
The duo will team up with the Ghetto Kids to host South African global sensation Master KG.
I'm excited to meet you in person.
Here we go.
Oh gosh! Catch the Road to Mamas, hosted by Uganda, the pearl of Africa. Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you!
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion, and many more. And certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apolokagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, of course, morning once again, and it is that time when we do give you ways in how you can get to the city center. Now, of course, we'll look at a couple of different areas, but today, particularly, we'll be looking at people who are coming in from Gaza Road. Now, at least if you've been able to make it to the areas of Umperere, and from there now you see there's quite no traffic at all in the areas of Umperere, that road that takes you to Namere and later on to Chitezi. Now, when you come straight, the road is a bit clear. And you see just past Eden Revival Church, that is one there, and of course around the areas of Gaza, the highway. It is quite clear, not until you reach the areas of Shell. Just after Ampere there is a bit of jam for people who are going, but not the people who are coming into the city center. Now still, it is clear there. Just a bit of jam around Kanyanya. There, the gas petrol station Kanyanya, for some of you who know that area, just a bit, but the road is very clear. As you're coming into town, you pass the Gaga bus service station there, and will usher yourself into an area that is Wakataka Road, around that side, and of course where there is Miller Auto Diagnosis. Still, the road is very clear. Gaza Road is doing not bad. Now, there's a road that joins in to Gaza Road that is normally that takes you to Chebando. That is off that goes off to Chebando. There's a bit of jam because it's a joiner into the main road. Now, once you go, still you'll meet a bit of jam around that is La Fleva Halal Point as you approach that is Karere. Still, there's a lot of jam, and the reason is basically because there's a road now that takes you off to say traffic lights there. All the way through, there's jam, and also maybe it's informed by the road works here at around the areas of Karere. Now, you do notice that these people are trying to put up a flyover as an option for the road there. So there's quite a lot of jam, and probably you spend about 20 to 30 minutes in this jam, and the reason is because now you have to drive. If you're coming from Gaza Road, you have to drive all the way this side, then join back to end up at Kalere. Now, once you're able to go through that particular point, you will cross over to Kalere Market, where it is fairly moving well. There's no jam at this point because basically there's no intersections there. You'll definitely go through the same area without any disturbance. No jam for people who are coming into town up to the time now you reach the roundabout of Kubiri, which is also very much operating well. Now, once you go up Mulago side, you do notice that there's a lot of jam around here where we see there's a road that comes in from up Mulago. Upper Mulago there, and in the roundabout for you to join in this Mulago road that will lead you to Shell, and later on you'll end up on Yusufulule Road. There's still a lot of jam, but even if you're to go ahead, let's look at the roundabout now at Mulago, that public service roundabout there. You see Kira Road, and of course Mulago roundabout. There's Kasule Road and Yusufulule. There's a little bit of jam. For some of you people who are coming or using the Chila Road, take note that you spend about 15 to 25 minutes on that road. And if you're to take now the road that will bring you to Wandegea, that is Haji Mukasa Kasule Road. There's a bit of jam for people who are getting out, heading into the Mulago roundabout, but not for people who are coming into the city center. Now, of course, you come to Wandegea, where we see there's fairly not much jam for people who are getting into the city, but there's a bit of jam for people who are coming out of the city. This is a place where we have intersection where we have the traffic lights. But if you're to go ahead and if you do use the Bombo Road, if you take the upper route of where you have multi-choice, which is actually one way, no wonder you don't see any form of jam. But if you're to go down onto Bombo Road, still you meet Makerere Hospital there, and if you're to go the other side of Makerere. Now, of course, coming back now to the city center, for some of you who are using still Bombo Road, you do notice that there's at there's Novik Hospital, the jam is very much okay. There's not much jam. Watoto Church, there's not much jam. Probably after Watoto, now you're on to Kampala Road. There's a bit of jam, as you notice, of cars that are going out and are joining down at Chiseka's market there. But when you do come to Kampala Road, not much jam still. So you come at City Square, there's not much jam still, but only now the cars which are joining in from the old tax park into City Square and probably up CPS. Again, Kampala Road is clear up till the point now where you reach Diamond Trust Bank, where we see a bit of jam, and of course that is around the areas of Pilkington Road there and Cham Towers. That area has a bit of jam, and probably it's informed by the traffic lights here. Normally they stop, and the one on Entebbe Road that will lead you into Kampala Road. Now still Kampala Road is clear for some of you who intend to use, but of course then you will meet a few points of jam when you get to this particular area that is around the Winton Road. There's also fairly moving, the cars are fairly moving well. Now as you come down to the areas of the Electoral Commission, Centenary Park, there's a bit of jam for the cars that are getting into town. This being the rush hour, it's around 7:40. This is the rush hour, and you go, of course, clearly you can see the jam is basically for those cars that are heading into town. The red does indicate the cars coming into town, and it does indicate a bit of jam, but on the roads that are bringing people into town. You do proceed now to around Ministry of Internal Affairs still. The jam is on the side of the cars that are coming into town, and probably those that are joining in from Old Port Vale Road, from the areas of Luzira, Bugorobi. There's a bit of jam on that roundabout, but for cars that are going out, Hotel Africana up, and also those going through Kampala Road, still it is clear. You see, as it is very clear, not until now you reach the areas of Lugogo, around the Lugogo bypass there. You notice that there's a bit of jam again for the cars joining into the Ginger Road and of those coming into town. But when you go further around the areas of Nakawa, now total Nakawa, those traffic lights that lead you later to Bugorobi, and they'll proceed, there's fairly not much jam there. So for some of you who will be traveling from Gayaza Road up to Ginger Road, you notice that you may spend about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes if you know how to beat the jam. Now, of course, that is what we will be leaving with you. Please travel safe. It's a lot of accidents lately on the road. Most recent, we did have a very painful scene that we saw around the Hima area. It is sad for those people that lost their lives, and of course for those still nursing injuries. But for those who are using the road today, please endeavor to make sure you do the normal drills. Check your car. Most of the accidents on the roads are caused by things probably we didn't or we less put importance to, like checking your brake pads. Do you have your wipes, the screen, your windscreen, how clear is it, mostly in these morning hours. All these kind of things, once in a while, take time to check your car. It would be unfortunate for us to lose you for things you could have avoided. Again, thank you so much for watching UBC, and of course, good morning Uganda. Now we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into our GMU agenda, where we'll be looking at an issue that needs national importance and concern. Basically, the relation of some of the religious institutions and most of their relevance in terms of governance and socio-economic transformation. But of course, also don't forget that we are streaming live, or follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you do want to watch us live, that is UTV Tele, that is UBC television that we have, stretching from current affairs, economic policy, just to mention. But if you'll be able also to catch us, even when you missed the show, you could go back and have a look at it. Now, thank you so much for watching UBC, and in particular, Good Morning Uganda. Now, we'll take a break, but when we come back, we're picking up with our programs.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Connect to the world for free on Ayoba. Chat with friends for free. Play games all day for free. Jam to Ziki for free. You can also send money through Ayoba. Absolutely no MBs needed. To download the app, visit www.mtn.co.ug/mymtn and select Ayoba.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Buyogera nyaffe Uganda ku Radio Africa. Tolemwa kumwenya. Olwaka mwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo. Ne butusobozesa buli mu kubeerawo mu ngeri ye. Kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu. Bwe buwoomyo obuva mu kyokunywa. Ekyaleeruya Gingerted drink n'aleeruya Tamarind drink. Eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Woomerwa ekyokunywa kirimu omubisi gw'enkooge. Aleluya Tamarind drink n'aleluya Gingerted drink bikolebwa ba Aleluya Reflexology Healthy Solution and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Mufunira ekyokunywa kya Aleluya leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bakubire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
Needs, come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Port Bell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
Next time on the Road to Mama's Kampala 2021.
It's a shame. I've never been to Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Sheba joins forces with fellow Ugandan comedian Salvador to explore Queen Elizabeth Park and the unforgettable Kazinga Channel.
Jerusalem.
Road to the mama.
The duo will team up with the Ghetto Kids to host South African global sensation Master KG.
I'm excited to meet you in person.
Here we go.
Oh gosh! Catch the Road to Mamas, hosted by Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
double data. Airtel introduces double data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh, yeah. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you. Daddy, you look not impressed.
My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion, and many more. And certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apolokagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
6 minutes to the top of the hour. I hope you're already up, and thank you for keeping it on UBC TV. Every morning from 6:30, we are here to ensure that we lighten up your morning by giving you all the information that you need to go about the day. Current affairs, entertainment, sports, what is trending in the print media, all in one show. A full package for you, full heavy breakfast for you. So do not miss. Make it a date every weekday to begin your day with us. I'm Robert Chirabonyo, and welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda, where we look at issues that concern you, that concern us locally and internationally. Today we are going to be looking at the Interfaith Harmony Week. Now these are issues of faith. Interfaith Harmony Week. This is a day that also the United Nations designated as a week where different faiths come together, share information, work together to better understand each other and avoid incidents of collusion. We've seen where people of one faith, we've had Muslim extremists, sometimes even Christian or other faith extremists that think not succumbing to their faith or believing in what they believe in then makes the other an enemy. So they set, and in Uganda, the Interreligious Council and that brings together different faiths, celebrate this week, the first week of February. And with me in studios today I have Isa Kiralira, who is the Executive Director, Nile Dialogue Platform, and he is with us. Yes, so many would have been here from the different faiths, but unfortunately because of space and time, we cannot accommodate them. But what you're going to be discussing is why this week, why should there be harmony amongst various faiths in any part of the country. Isa, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Bwana Robert.
How have you been long since I last met you? How are issues of dialogue been moving on in this country?
So far so good. We have been doing our best, and the people are appreciating our intervention.
Dialogue is
the easy thing.
Most of this time we've had people lose, people win, losers not content, winners saying I got victory over you.
Of course, we encourage them to stay balanced. The moment you are balanced, then everything becomes very clear, and you remain in your positive state of mind. Losing an election, losing your dear ones, I mean, those are part of life. So we must accept them as they come.
And Master, it could be a happy task mediating to bring dialogue.
But you know what, the moment people eliminate ignorance through going to school, through interacting with one another, through reflecting and thinking, then it becomes very easy, because you position yourself and say, what do I want? Don't I want to live in harmony with one another? And there we are there.
Let's take a look at the Interfaith Harmony Week. For someone watching our show, briefly give us the history or a brief background to how we arrived at this week that is internationally recognized.
Interfaith Harmony Week was started by King Abdul Aziz of Jordan, of course having lived in an area where extremism is high. And in his wisdom, and after consulting many elders, not only Muslims but even people of other faiths, he thought it was very necessary to lobby the world, more so the center of administration of world affairs, that is United Nations Organization, in 2010, so that this day can be proclaimed by UN. And we saw it being passed in 2010 by UN, and from that day we started marking it as one of the international days of UN, where people come together, share their views, and find formulas how they can remain glued to their faith but be available for others.
When we talk about harmony, Interfaith Harmony Week, that means that they are also extremists in some area. Coming back to Uganda, do we have these issues? To what extent do we have faith people are not working together, or extremists, or those that feel if you don't succumb to their, we have religious confrontations, clashes in Uganda?
When you look at the history of Uganda, before independence, of course, religions played a very big role in creating insecurity. Conflict were very much available. I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, they gang together. Even they got involved into politics. But slowly by slowly, when independence came in, people realized that we need to live in harmony together. But those elements remained of people. It's my religion, it is the best. I must not look at this other person. Because when I was growing up, I would even see people saying, you are a Muslim, we are not supposed to be in this area of Kabale, this is a Christian land. But thanks to God, there were those who were civilized. That's why in the beginning I told you, eliminating ignorance through education is very vital. Because those who were, they will not look at it. Then, I also want to appreciate when NM came in, one of its major objective aims that was focusing on was to eliminate sectarianism. It says, I don't want to know your religion, I don't want to know your tribe. I want to know how educated you are, how quality you are, how useful you are to your community, to your people, to your family. And the campaign, awareness campaign, were carried on. And then in the process we saw Inter-Religious Council of Uganda coming in a huge way. And that one played a very big role. You now find His Eminence the Mufti of Uganda, His Eminence the Archbishop of other faiths, the pastors, they are together visiting one another on functions. Visitors are wedding, they are together eating together. On Eid, on Christmas, they are together, discussing issues that affect them, and they remain committed to their values. In fact, I want to quote one Muslim scholar called Glenn, who says that our first identity, we are human beings. What comes second is your personal. And then we saw Inter-Religious Council stressing those messages. So, to me, really, in Uganda, so far so good. But there are countries where you find somebody standing openly. He says, I'm a Muslim, I don't want to deal with you, a kafir. You find a pastor saying those Muslims don't deserve to be with us. There are some extremist Christians also who say we cannot be around. But in Uganda we are doing very well. Although we have not reached where we want to reach. How do we get there and live in harmony with one another? You do your things, you go in your mosque, play never pray to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You go to the church, you pray to God, you go to your any other worshipping center, and then when you leave it, you have got a duty to pray with people who were created by God and within the same environment, the same country.
We'll take a short break and have another guest join us. This is about Interfaith Harmony Week, so we'll have another guest join us also from another religious sect of faith. Let's shortly after this break.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you. Daddy, you look not impressed.
My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion, and many more. And certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apolokagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Interfaith Week is what we are discussing this morning, how different faith can live in harmony together. And now we are also joined by a person from another faith, that is the born-again faith, Pastor Jerome Montege, who administers at both Makerere and Chambogo universities, also as a lecturer but also as a minister of God. Pastor, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Today we are looking at the Interfaith Harmony Week, and we've been discussing with Issa a couple of issues. But as you join in, we want to look at, do we still have some gaps that are visible even in the current today, that are challenges among different faiths or different religions?
Yes, exactly. I mean, this has to do with how we look at each other. There is a lot of tremendous work that has been done in Uganda, if you compare it with many other countries. But we can't take it for granted. We still have to work on this. And people like Issa have been drumming the stick. For the first time they called me, I was like, they are inviting me to break a fast. The Muslim clergy, I'm like, Muslims want me to break the fast. So I went with all my ears scared. I'm like, what are they planning to do to me? And then when I reached the room, it had every kind of people. Catholics, Protestants, bishops, reverends. And I'm like, okay, am I safe? And what they said, you know what, we are together. We have the same blood. We live in the same place. We can either fight or live together in harmony. And that was very clear to me. Like, when we look at people of faith, people that believe that there is a God that made us and has a purpose for us, his main intention was not that we fight. His main intention was we live in harmony. And interacting with him and many other faiths, I discovered that especially like in Uganda, many of us were born in communities that were different. My father was the son of a reverend. My mother was a Catholic. I was raised in the army, where there are so many different people. And then I was raised by a Muslim man who had married my mother by then. So I have a brother who is a Muslim. Then I have a mother who was a Catholic and a father who was an Anglican child priest. I grew up in a Baptist Oregon. I'm a strong evangelical, and I've worked with Anglicans. So I discovered just from my own world, I am from the different faith. Beyond even that, I grew up at Nakaima in Mubende's place, where I would interface with people of completely people who are left out. And understanding my theology today and as a scholar, I discover that we actually have very small things that separate us, and people focus on those small differences. But this week reminds me that my faith, God has called us to open the boundaries of our faith, to allow that everybody, because Jesus talks about the least of these, the kingdom of God is for the least of these. He compared it with the children coming. In other words, he told people that you cannot, hypocrites, whatever, he was attacking religious leaders who stand at the door. They don't enter the kingdom, neither do they allow other people to get in the kingdom. They block everybody. But God is big. God did not create any of these religions. So interfaith doesn't mean that we have to have one religion. Interfaith means we need to respect other people who may not be necessarily of our faith. That's number one. We also need to hear them, have a dialogue. Because one of the scholars we talk about, he comes from the Hizmet guys, is Fatullah Grain. He talks about that the problems of the world have to do with conflict, wars, people fighting, poverty, and this poverty and conflict and ignorance. These were the three fundamental. Fight ignorance with education. Fight poverty with investment. But fight conflict with tolerance, love, and dialogue. The reason why we fight is because we don't know what the other person is saying. We don't know what they are talking about. We don't know whether they like us. We assume the evil to them. But when we go to talk to them, when I went to their breaking of the fast, I want to enjoy all the breaking of the fast, and he has taken me to some places. I mean, when they are fasting, there's a time, there's that Eid where they cut animals. They bring to me. So one person asked me, you eat more Muslim meat? How can you eat food offered to the Muslims? I say, tell me in Uganda, where do you buy meat that's not cut by Muslims?
This is what I want to bring in. This is very interesting. Our dear viewer, this week is marked globally, and the UN set it apart as every first week of February as the International Harmony Week, Interfaith Harmony Week, where all religions, all faith must come together and push for harmony amongst them. Issa, for the elite, for the town dwellers, for the members of the Interreligious Council, this might be understood easily. But let's look at the broader picture, people in rural settings there. How easy has it been for your gospel of living in harmony regardless of our faith? Some may look at this as diluting their faith. How has the journey been?
I'm glad my brother talked about it. He said that he stressed the point I had earlier said, that eliminating ignorance is very important. You also have raised it that to the communities in the villages where people who might not have gone to school, how do we reach them? Of course, we have...
So indoctrinated in their faith.
We have set up community connectors in the mosques, in the churches, who will reach even those who cannot communicate in English, who cannot communicate in Kiswahili, who cannot communicate in Uganda, in Ruchiga, who can communicate in the language they understand better. And in this, that's why we always put up games like Play Soccer, Make Peace. Because when you involve the youth in playing soccer, which is interfaith based, finally they will become friends, and along the way they will even come up with project to work together. In that process you find them eliminating that in me I'm a Muslim, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Protestant. I want to give you an example of Catholic Relief Service. It started a program called Connector Program, and it is very exciting in northern Uganda, where people were conflicting on issues of land, Muslim and non-Muslims. And we are yet to follow it up to find out the impact it has made, but according to my research, these people are working together and they are bearing their differences. So the simple projects you put in those communities and the continuous reminder to visit them and tell them that our first identity, we are human beings, it sends a very strong message to them that I don't want to be left behind. I want us to be among the progressive team that think globally, not to be confined in my own region and I forget other people. He told you that he was brought up by a Muslim, raised up by people of other faith. I want to be very clear and honest to you that there is no family in Uganda. Others could be there, but the majority of them, they all follow different religions. Like me, of course, I'm the third generation of Islam in Kabale. Okay. My grandfather having been the first Muslim Muchiga. But you realize that our aunties, we have grown up with them, we have lived with our uncles, we are still interacting, they support us during Eid, we support them during Christmas, and we find it very easy. And these messages have been sent across. So what ours is really to remind them, we cannot do much. And of course, we also tell them that respecting people's faith does not mean that you belong to that faith. You are not going to turn me into a Catholic, to a born again, into a Christian, but I have total maximum respect for them. They believe in God who created me, created the earth. So it is the thinking, it's my choice. But I should not be a nuisance to others because of choosing what I believe is the right thing.
Radicalism and extremism.
It does not apply. That's why we are trying to change it to say you don't call other people, those are non-Christians, those are non-Muslims. We are trying to say these are people of other faith. So we are trying all our best by putting in projects. There are many projects we undergo in terms of water. And when we are integrating them, of course, we tell them everyone needs this water. Other people want the Muslim bringing water to us, and he says this water should be shared and even be managed according to our own choice. When we are giving scholarships, we don't sort out who to give. Whoever qualifies, whoever is needed. So there are many things that really can bring us together and live in harmony, and we forget our differences. You are not supposed to really be glued to what you believe in to the extent of abusing another person. When you get a problem, like you have fallen into an ambush of thieves, do you go to shout and say, yeah, Muslim come and help me, yeah, Christian come and you say, yeah, you call upon any human being near you to help you if you fall in the ditch to come and help you. Those are simple things which should guide us to know that really we need one another. We should not hate each other. We should look at quality. We should move by quality. I wouldn't really employ a Muslim who cannot perform and I leave a Christian who is a great performer. There I would be giving myself a disservice. And I've seen many Ugandans doing it. For example, do you know why Muslims are the best drivers in the country? They don't drink. Bishops have adopted them. So I think we are getting there to look for quality, not based on religion.
Jerome, since this day was brought up by the UN and also the celebrations, now about 21 years of celebrations, do we have something tangible, some significance that it has created this week a whole week of activities, do you think there's an impact, or we are just celebrating, it's just something formal that every first week of February, globally, we have the Interfaith Harmony Week?
That's very interesting. First of all, the greatest thing I can tell you that has changed is me. I'm going to change this story. Like I told you, the first time I'm invited to this meeting, I didn't know what to expect. And I'll tell you, from that time, I have enjoyed this dialogue. And I would say, like I say, my testimony, I've traveled to Scandinavian countries. I did my master's in Italy 2005 and 6. I've been to Iraq in Erbil. I've been to Thailand. And I've been to Jordan. These countries I mentioned, they are all very strong in which religion they belong to. For example, in Jordan, I got a chance to sit with some Muslim scholars, especially the girls, the ladies. And they're like, really, you're a Christian? We don't believe it. And you talk like this, you are just a good Muslim. I'm like, no. Because they had never seen a Christian. The only Christian they knew was the bad guy who throws a bomb and kills them. I said, no, actually, Christianity is not something bad. It's something that we share. And we had fun. And from that day, I have open relationship with people in Jordan. Then I was in Iraq. In Iraq, we think that in Iraq, they're only Muslims. First of all, there, they don't put on turban. They put on suits, they move around, but they have cities for Christians and Muslims. I didn't know. So I went to the Christian city. I want to go to the church. So you have to tell us your ID, where you come from. They rejected me. Then I went to the Muslim place. I want to go to the mosque. At first I thought mosques are close to the Muslims. Now after interacting, I discovered I can enter mosque and I'm allowed to go there. And they are always open. So they allowed me to go there. Then in Italy, it's Catholics. I had no place to pray for. I would go to the churches. Every 100 meters, there's almost a church. I would sit in a church and make my devotions clear. Until I discovered there was one big church which was left to all people of faith, Pentecostals, what. But I had enjoyed, I was comfortable in me that I can live with everybody. So I'm a changed person. But beyond that, we have developed many projects. In Mackay, for example, we have a club where we would sit as dialogue of different professors, and this was initiated by him and other group, where we would sit and discuss. We have different faith. So we would have time to discuss things in details for our own benefit. I've participated in AU writing codes that we should respect peoples of faith. And I remember when certain clergy here, there was allegation that he burnt a Bible. I was the first to say, are you sure? A Muslims can't do that. You cannot do that, because this is a sacred book to some people. Even if you don't like it, you don't burn it. So I have seen activities which are changing in Uganda. We used to take it for granted that, oh, we are born Christians, whatever. But then we discovered we need to put policies that are clear and clear guidelines. The Interreligious Council has become stronger. There is so you see that now even Pentecostals go to that meeting. You can tell that the strifes between the two different Muslims groups are also reducing, and the fights, there is some kind of respect that is coming. Of course, there are extremes, and always reach out to them and say, look, this has to change. So I look at Uganda, I'm like, as I speak now, there are prayer breakfasts, which they used not to be there. Now we have the president inviting all kind of people of faith sitting in one place to pray for Uganda. And these are foundation stones. We can build on them to continue our faith. People allowing marriages, you can't imagine. Sometime back,
I wanted to ask, sometime back, that so much has been attained, so much has been achieved, but the issue of marriages, some of us have where the husband is this and the wife is this, and then at that level, it seems you are still yet to get a breakthrough.
No, I think, let me first just finish that part of marriage. I think on individual purpose, first of all, as a pastor Christian, I would love everybody to become a Christian. But that's not what happened. So I will not spend all my time fighting all of them. The only way people can become Christians is when they see a Christian person behaving nicely, doing some good works. Then they can experience my godliness in them. Then when you find a good Muslim, he wants to prove to you that his God is generous and loving, and then you work with him. Now, when your daughter comes to you and say, I'm getting married, and the person I'm marrying is Isa, it is now not as it used to be that you will come up and beat and say, this my child cannot become a Muslim. Because I'm telling you, the entire society of Uganda will tell you, if she wants to go with a Muslim, what's your problem?
Society has reached
society is reaching to that. I have a young brother, not even a brother, he's a son to my uncle, who I got from Ubende, brought him to Kampala, became born again, he loved. Then he went and worked in Southern Sudan. He came back when he's called Abdul Rashid. I'm like, really? You're Abdul Rashid? They say, you know, I discovered I need to be a good Christian, I need to be a Muslim. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I said, first of all, my home and this room is always open. You can come whether with the Quran or the Bible. I have no problem. We shall not even talk about it. Say, but I want us to talk about, say, I don't want us to discuss religion the same way I don't want to discuss politics. But if you want us to engage, we can talk. He comes to me. Now he works in Dubai. He tells me, pray for me. But he's a Muslim. He shows up at home. So when he was praying, my children now had learned to pray like that. So I said, now when you're praying, can you lock yourself in the room so that my kids don't ask me so many questions? But what I'm trying to say, he knows that my house is open for him. Recently, my sister gave away her daughter to a Muslim man. And I was called. I mean, a Muslim, the way you organize your marriage is very quick. So they told me the man is visiting. Me, I thought the man is visiting. After they talked, they called the girl and said, do you like this man? Yes. Nobody's forcing you? Yes. Are you willing to take this man to marry you? Yeah, I like the man, I'm willing. How much is it a mahara? The girl said 500. The man pulled the money. Now I couldn't understand what was taken, but I was there seated in the middle. Then they said, for us Muslims, we want to delay, before the sun goes, we must take. Little did I know, they started praying there, holding hands. My daughter was taken away. Now she has given me a muzukuru. But you know what? She knows I love her, and I would be there when she wants me at any time. And I would not condemn her, because later the evening they called us to eat a goat, because my daughter was virgin, raised with a Muslim father, and she got married when she's a virgin, and they honored that. What an honor to be an uncle to a daughter getting married when she's a virgin.
I'll bring in Issa in the interest of time. Issa, let's look at some of the activities that you've laid around up to mark or to celebrate this Faith Harmony Week this time around. We know it's a COVID time and many things have changed.
Yeah, of course, we did start by having a press release that was encouraging every Ugandan to participate in the Interfaith Harmony Week. And then it was proceeded, of course, with media programs on radio stations, different TVs, and we'll be having lunch. We'll be having a discussion tomorrow and conclude with lunch at our offices. And on Saturday, we will also have a meeting with the journalists to send a message across Uganda and the world that Uganda is available to send, to start awareness campaign in making sure that people get glued to what they believe in, but respect other people's faith and culture. And we will conclude with soccer, dubbed Play Soccer, Make Peace on Sunday. 4 teams will participate, and the winner, of course, will get a gift. Will get a cow, and then a bull, and all those who will participate will get balls. And of course, there will be very refreshment. We will call stakeholders in regions.
I fact that is various faiths are going to be competing.
Exactly, to come and deliver messages that we need each other to develop our country, to develop our families, and of course, more so, we start respecting our members of families of different faith, like my brother has mentioned it, and extend it to our neighbor.
Thank you so much. Time is not our best ally. I'll just have a minute from each of you to give us your final remarks regarding interfaith harmony week, living in harmony. We have different faiths. I liked a story that Joram, you've just said, that each one of us, if you look into your family, you might have people of different faith, but we must live in harmony. Maybe your mother was a Christian, your father was a Catholic, and then at the end of the day, maybe you get married you marry a Muslim lady, you're born again. So we should understand that yes, we may have our religious differences, but we still are the same people. Let me have your final remarks, Jerome.
One, I would say dialogue is a must.
Okay.
And we can either choose to fight or live in peace. And I want to speak to Christians, especially born again people. I think people have tolerated us more than any other group because we convert other people from other faith and they have come to us. Now, in case people convert from our faith to their faith, we shouldn't even run mad. And if we want people to be Christians, maybe we should look better Christians. But beyond, if people don't want to become Christians, we must extend love, tolerance to them. And of course, we must open our boundaries to understand who they are. Not to understand, to listen and understand. And I wish all Christians to participate in our communities. Me, I ask people to eat together, dine with people of other faith, from the maids to workers to cleaners. Invite them for a meal that they may not be of the same, but make sure you eat with them. Eating, everybody eats. That shows we are all the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Joram Ntege, who is a pastor at both Makerere and Chambogo, but also a lecturer. Let me have your final remarks, Isa.
To my Muslim brothers, you all remember what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went through. He was in a mosque, somebody came and urinated, and he said, leave him. He was not a Muslim. A woman who used to throw stones in his way, when he fell sick, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam visited her, and she said, you are doing that? You whom I thought I was your enemy, and now you are the one coming to wish me well? You remember before, when the Prophet died, we discovered that one of his coat was with the Jews. He had put it there as a stake to get benefits. Then who are we not to work with other people of different faith, different religion? To my countrymen and the Christian, let us learn how to respect one another, work together, develop our country, and we should be above sectarianism. We look out for he who is good, who has the qualities, and is the one to guide us and take us through wherever we want to get. The onus is on you and me to be the agents of peace and eliminate extremism. Extremism will never take us anywhere. It will in fact destroy us the more, and we fail to proceed and execute our assignments assigned to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wish you well in this week. Let us celebrate Interfaith Harmony Week, and we get the greater good that it carries for always living in harmony with one another.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Isa Kirarira, who is the Executive Director, Nile Dialogue Platform, and also Pastor Joram Ntege from Makerere and Chambogo University, where he is a lecturer but also a minister in the Kingdom of God. Thank you so much. Let's be tolerant. Let's live together in harmony as we celebrate the Interfaith Harmony Week. Preach that gospel. Sell out the word of unity and also tolerance. Have a blessed day. I'll leave you with Ruben to take you through the world of sports. A peaceful environment is all what we crave for and all need. God bless you. God bless Uganda.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone